In medieval London, toilet paper did not exist. So what did people use instead? The answer is so disgusting, you won't believe it. Kenk. Imagine a world where fresh does not mean the clean scent of soap. It means the sharp smell of dried herbs, trying to hide the heavy musk of 1,000 unwashed days. Kenk. In medieval England, a hot shower is not a luxury. It is a death wish, a terrifying way to open the body's gates to invisible killers carried on the wind. Okay? On a cold medieval English morning, the day does not begin with the rush of hot water from a tap. It begins with a quiet, shivering splash of cold water from a simple basin. For an ordinary person in 14th century London or in a drafty manor in Yorkshire, the idea of sinking the whole body into a tub of hot water feels strange and dangerous. Instead, the morning starts with a dry wash. You stand by the bed, maybe on a floor covered in old rushes that have not been changed in months. You dip a rough piece of linen into cold water. You wipe your face and hands. That is often the only water your skin will touch all day. The doctors of the time live in fear of the Black Death. They give a grim warning. Hot water opens the pores. To them, a pore is not a natural opening for the skin to breathe. It is a weak spot in the body's defenses, a gap where deadly pestilential air, the miasma, can slip in and destroy you from the inside. So a layer of grime is not seen as dirt. It is seen as protection, a shield against the plague. If you belong to the aristocracy, your cleanliness depends almost entirely on your linen undershirt. This is the great medical trick of the age. People believe fine white linen works like a sponge for the body. As you sweat, the linen pulls the poisons and impurities out of your pores. It traps them in the fabric. Your body stays clean without ever touching dangerous water. A nobleman might change his shirt 3 or 4 times a day. He believes the fresh, crisp linen is scrubbing him clean, even though his skin never meets soap. This idea is so strong that showing the bright white edge of a linen shirt becomes a sign of wealth. It announces to everyone, you are rich enough to be clean without getting wet. Dental care is rough and painful. There is no toothbrush. Instead, you take a coarse linen cloth. You dip it in a harsh mix of ground salt, crushed bone, or herbs. You scrub your teeth hard, trying to scrape away the yellow decay. When a tooth starts to rot, there is no gentle fix. The pain is blamed on a toothworm eating at the root. The cure often comes from a barber surgeon with pliers and no medicine to stop the pain. The screams echo. The smiles of the time are rarely bright white. They are often missing teeth, always careful and guarded. The air around people is thick, not with the smell of washed bodies, but with strong perfumes. Musk, rosewater, and spices are poured on heavily. They cover the natural smell of bodies that live, sleep, and work in the same unchanged skin. While avoiding baths is a quiet personal choice, dealing with waste in medieval England is a loud, overwhelming disaster. It hits the senses from miles away. For someone from today, the biggest shock is not the dirty faces. It is the complete lack of any proper sanitation system. Something we now see as a basic human right. Look first at the height of luxury, the castle. Here the bathroom is called a garderobe. The word literally means wardrobe. It is just a stone bench with a hole built out over the castle wall. It hangs above a stagnant moat or a deep cesspit far below. There is no water to wash anything away. Only gravity does the work. In summer heat, the rising stench from the pile below is so strong, it brings tears to your eyes. Yet, In a strange twist of medieval cleverness, this smell has a use. Noblemen's finest velvet robes often hang right inside the garderobe. The sharp ammonia fumes from the waste rise up and kill the fleas and moths that ruin the expensive cloth. The toilet doubles as a fumigation room. Step outside the castle, into the narrow, crowded alleys of a city like London. The problem grows from uncomfortable to terrifying. Ordinary people have no moat. They use shared latrines or simple wooden buckets. These are emptied into backyard pits that fill quickly, or, too often, straight into the open street gutter. The city produces more filth than it can handle. It depends on a hidden group of men to keep from drowning in waste. These are the Gong farmers. They are the forgotten, tragic heroes of medieval sanitation. The law forces them to work only at night, so polite society never sees or smells their labor, and their job is a nightmare. They climb down into dark, choking cesspits. Often they stand waist-deep in human waste, shoveling it out by hand. The fumes in those tight, rotting spaces can be deadly. Above ground, laws try to keep the streets clean. Muckrakers are paid to scrape the roads, but they fight a losing battle. The real street cleaners are the pigs. They wander freely through towns, eating food scraps and refuse thrown from windows. They solve one problem, but leave their own droppings behind, adding to the thick layer of muck on the stones. The smell becomes a powerful mix. Travelers say entering a medieval city feels like a physical hit. Draw animal waste and the sharp chemical sting from tanner's vats, where urine and dog feces cure leather in the open air. In this time, you do not just see the city, you breathe it in. And one last question haunts every modern mind. In medieval London, toilet paper did not exist. So what did people use instead? The answer is so disgusting, you won't believe it. The answer is harsh and rough. In a world without soft tissue, cleaning yourself is a painful negotiation with whatever is nearby. If you are wealthy, you might use soft wool or scraps of linen. But for most people, the peasant in the field, the worker in town, the tools are simple and brutal. Moss, broad leaves, hay, straw, whatever the hand can reach. It scratches, it cleans poorly. It often leaves behind as many troubles as it removes, sometimes more. The Romans once used a sponge on a stick soaked in vinegar. Even that small comfort was lost. Cruder, more painful ways took its place. This lack of sanitation creates a cruel cycle. Hands are rarely clean. Wiping is never thorough. So the people live in constant reinfection with intestinal parasites. Almost every adult carries worms. From the blacksmith to the bishop, these silent passengers live inside. They take a share of the food the body has worked so hard to earn. It is a hidden tax on energy in a world where food is already scarce. Yet we must not judge these people only by their dirt. We must look with awe. Their bodies are built tough by endless exposure. Their immune systems can fight bacterial loads that would put a modern person in the hospital within days. They are not blind to their hardship. They fight back with what they know: herbs, vinegar, alcohol, natural ways to fight infection. They are not dirty by choice. They are limited by the tools and knowledge of their time. When we gaze back at those shadowed cathedral cities of medieval England, we should not just see the missing showers or the moss used instead of paper. We should see the huge effort it took to build a civilization, to hold on to dignity amid constant biological chaos. Their story of hygiene is not a tale of laziness. It is the story of a fierce, desperate battle against their own bodies, a battle for survival, where true cleanliness was the rarest luxury of all, bought only with the hardest work imaginable